Okay, so session will start recording now. Okay, so 14 all living bodies. Okay, and then 16. My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice, thus established by the Vedas, certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of senses, such a person lives in vain, right? But then in the purport, further, it says that the person who is practicing Krishna consciousness, they need not follow all these stuff. So that's the confusion, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So whatever you are seeing is being told in this chapter is for people who are practicing Karma Yoga, right? But if anybody is practicing bhakti yoga, then this is not required. Okay, this is not required because bhakti yoga, all the act is for Krishna. So if we are offering all our work to Krishna directly, right? So this is not required. That was the question, Mataji?
Yeah.
Okay.
Krishna consciousness is like watering the roots.
Very, yes. Yes. Okay, so last week we primarily covered that one has to be a good leader, right? So we started from verse 21. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues it, right? So, and then the verse further goes further that okay, even Janaka did it, even I did it, right? And if I fail to engage, then it will lead to problem for the all the mankind, right? So this is what we talked about, and then further now it is telling what should be the mood of serving, so or working. Right. So let's quickly go over. As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, and learned will similarly act, but without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path. 26. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. So it is telling here is we should not disturb people who are not ready for the path to coming on the path of Krishna consciousness. But what minimally we can do, we can engage them in the service. A lot of people, they like to do volunteering service, anything like that. We should engage them. If they are willing, we should engage them. And by doing that sort kind of that kind of activity, slowly they will come. They will become Krishna consciousness. And you can see from that example in the temple here, there are a lot. This temple congregation has grown really, really wide, and the reason is lot of events. And lot of events, lot of people they volunteer, and slowly they have become very conducive for Krishna consciousness. So the spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. So we also understood that don't think that I am the cause of getting the work done. I am one of the agent, right? But there are other things which is coming into the play. Okay, so we should be very humble when we are approaching the work and when we are trying to take the credit for the result of the work. One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, O mighty arm, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the difference between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. Right? So the person who is on the path of Krishna consciousness, they avoid working for the sense gratification. Okay? Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant. You can take the Mata, you can take that pillow. It's okay? Okay. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and becomes attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performers lack of knowledge. So we shouldn't bother the people, right, who are just too busy with the material activities, other than offering them prasad, getting them to do some volunteers, involve them in Krishna's work, and through that they will get purified. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claims of proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So this is the example. I mean, this is the another direct word that you just surrender unto me, right? And then with the full knowledge, not like with the sentiment. but full knowledge without desire for profit loss, right? I'm just nishkam karm. You just fight, which is for us, we should do our work, whatever work has been assigned to us based on our psychophysical nature. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of fruitive actions. So as when we do this work, as Krishna is telling, right, and we do it with faithfully, with authenticity, without envy. A lot of time we become very competitive, and we are inside our heart we are envying. Oh, look at that person, how well they are doing, or look at even how well good the devotee they have become. We have that envy. That is not right. Okay.
Come envy on Krishna himself.
Yes. So
How Krishna is.
so now tell me, how do have you become envious of Krishna, Prabhu?
No.
No.
I mean,
Okay. Anybody has become प्रभु जी वो पिलो ले लीजिए ना. अरे नहीं प्रभु को पिलो दो प्रभु, ऐसे नहीं, वहां जमीन में ऐसे ही बैठी, पिलो बैठी. हाँ हाँ. So tell me, anybody here feels that they are envious of Krishna? Anybody here is envious of Krishna? Yes, Prabhu. You want to say something, Nitin Prabhu ji?
Because we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
As Krishna is a controller and enjoyer,
Mm-hmm.
we want to be also trying to be our own controller and enjoyer. So we came to the material world to enjoy ourselves, forgetting about Krishna. So every time I feel I'm doing a sense gratification, I'm trying to be indirectly in the way of Krishna and trying to enjoy myself.
So see, Nitin Prabhu answered it well. So, and this is a question which is kind of an overloaded question, because when you think about that, am I envious of Krishna? No, I'm not envious of Krishna. Why would I envious of Krishna? Krishna is a God. I believe in God. Why would be envious? Right? That's what he feels.
Right.
But then the envy is manifesting through our enjoying propensity. Because our ultimate, we are part and parcel of Krishna. Our goal is to serve him. But when I'm trying to enjoy independent of Krishna, it shows that I have the propensity. I'm just not able to see it. Now, I'll tell you how we can see it also. When challenges happen in our life, somebody says something bad to us, or something doesn't go as per our plan. Do you feel bad in your heart? Yes, no? Yes, little bit. That's the sign of envy, because when we are thinking that person is not right, that person is doing all the bad things to me, maybe that person can be a bad person. It's possible. But many times it's just the way I'm seeing at that person. I'm seeing from my point of view, and I'm not looking at their point of view. That's our ego. I think I am right. That's the sign of envy. So these are all the sign of envy which we can see, right? Whenever, so we should assume, as scripture is saying, we have all these 6 faults, right? Envy, illusion, false ego. These are all the faults we have. Anger, lust. In fact, the later part of the chapter is going to talk about some of these. Okay, so we are envious, and it will show, it shows through that. But okay, but those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, be fooled, and ruined in their endeavor for perfection. Disregard this teaching, right? So we say, oh, I don't need Bhagavad Gita, I know everything. So it's talking about those people, means their life is just a waste. They are wasting their life.
And
Even
most of people who are at least now outside the ISKCON or ourselves before coming to ISKCON, we feel we are all good because our desires are getting fulfilled. I'm worshipping whatever the Ishtadevata or whatever the deity that I follow. So I'm good. I no need to worry about roots and all that. I think they stop at their getting fruitive results for their yajna, whatever they are doing, and they don't care about the supreme whoever is behind all that. That's because of envy, I feel.
yes, bro.
And they feel envy about ISKCON itself because we talk about Krishna, not about any other god. So
yes, Prabhu,
anyway.
yeah. Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah. So so I will go even wider. We don't need to see all sects are authentic if they are talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead as written in Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas and other scriptural books.
Correct.
Okay, and all these scriptural books are not in conflict with each other. The focus of the book can be different. If you just, let's say, pick up a book on Shiva, so naturally there the worshipable deity is Shiva and is glorifying the Shiva. If you pick a book on Durga Ji, it's glorifying the Durga Ji. But when you read it properly, it says that means how they are also serving the Lord, right? So book is about Durga Ji. So naturally it says Durga Ji is supreme from that context. So we should understand the bigger context when we are making the interpretation on books also.
Correct.
Right? So yeah. So of course, ISKCON, Prabhupada, the way he established, he has made sure that everybody is following the Krishna's word and people are not making themselves up. That's the reason he wrote all these books. He translated these books in English so that we all can follow and note and not make our own words. Okay. So even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? So this is a very good point which is being made here. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. Now please expand it. What this verse is trying to say?
It's like I think because right now our mood is like sattvic, we are here to listen to class, right? If I was with any other moods of rajasic or tamas, I would have stayed at home and slept. So whatever the karma that we are doing, that is based on the mode that we are acquiring. So it's not like we are doing, it's we are being as an instrumental with that mode. So it's our choice. We want to be with that moods or we want to incline towards sattvic and then elevate yourself to Shuddha sattvic.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yes, Mataji.
With the teachings or not due to envy or due to confusion or misunderstanding or whatnot,
ignorance.
but ignorance, they will be doomed. So it's very strong language here.
Yes. Yes.
That.
Yeah. Yes. Because they are just
They
the,
take the
the, yeah, opportunity of the human life, and they are just remaining in they are choosing to remain in the cycle of birth and death without making the progress. And the verse 33 is to expand what Shiva Prabhu said. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. So what is telling that even the people who have understood who have read Bhagavad Gita, right? Sometimes they know the knowledge that, oh, I should do the work, I mean, for Krishna, I should not be doing the sense gratification. But what we see them, they are trying to enjoy, right? They are trying to enjoy for themselves and not for Krishna. Why that happens? And so it's telling that sometimes they are so much, their nature is due to their past karma and their past desire, their body has been created in such a way that is very hard for them to leave their bad habits. Some people who are a smoker, it becomes very hard for them to leave their smoking. Or the people who are very attuned to the drinking tea or coffee, very hard for them to leave it out, right? And it happens due to our previous conditioning. So it seems that the three modes are forcing us to do it. I'm trying to be a good person, but every time something happens, I'll become very angry. I'll become very angry, and then in that feat of anger, I will do some bad mistake. Okay, and it happens, keeps happening, even though I've done once, twice, thrice, it just keeps happening. So it seems that somebody is just forcing me. So what can repression accomplish? So what is the solution? So next few verses is going to talk about the solution. Yes, Mataji.
instead of like fighting with our natural instinction, uh, Krishna here is suggesting to transform that or channelize that slowly in spiritual growth instead of fighting with it and uh, changing it suddenly, which I'm trying to.
No, it's very, so you're saying in a very right way, Mataji. Yes. If let's say if it's very hard for me to leave some of my behavior because I am so ingrained in me, rather than just saying that, oh, I'm so bad, I cannot do that, I keep failing, and then what's happening? I'm becoming demotivated, and it's not serving me at all. Rather, what I should do, I should focus on my Krishna consciousness. I should focus on chanting. I should focus on doing my seva while I'm still struggling with my bad habits. I'm acknowledging, I'm trying to correct. Whenever I fail, I try to correct, but I'm not thinking too much about it. I just pray to Krishna, Krishna, what can I do? It seems that I'm just being forced upon. Please help me. And then in my chanting, I'm trying to improve on chanting. By doing that, slowly my nature would change. Okay, slowly the nature would change because Krishna can do everything. If I just keep fighting with my bad nature, then I'll become demotivated and it's not going to be conducive for me to progress on Krishna consciousness. Okay, yes.
It's more like instead of fighting, you just deflect it.
Yes,
Krishna.
yes, we focus on the positive. We don't focus on the negative. Right? I said, oh, I am okay. I acknowledge I have a lot of negative. Okay, and then I'll always be aware of that, but I'll focus on the positive. Yes, yes. We all have negatives, full of negatives. Some negatives are harder to deal than the other negatives. Right? Here in the room, I don't think any of you have any problem like that. Here, there are people who are like, even they have made a lot of progress. There, you'll see that they're very angry. On a short thing, they were like very short-tempered. Right? Some people have means bad food habits, or they are little abusive. They can be. Some people are abusive in the relationship, even though they are in practicing Krishna consciousness, right? And so, but if they keep consistent on Krishna consciousness, you'll see that all those negative quality will become slowly gone. It will be gone with some sincerity, for sure. And I can tell you with my own means my own experience also. Okay, okay, verse. So we will start from verse 34. Nitin Prabhu, want to read?
Yeah. Indriyasendriyasarthe
Indriyasandriyasarthe
ragadvesho vyavastito
ragadvesho vyavastito
tayorna vashamagachat
tayorna vasamagachat
tohasya paripanthini.
tohasya paripanthinau.
There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization.
So this is exactly, Mataji, what your question was, right? If we get, or Prabhu's question was, if we get caught up in this attachment and aversion, right? I dislike it, I like this, then we would never make progress on Krishna consciousness. So one should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion. So even aversion is bad. Oh, I hate my relationship. I don't like it. I'm just going to focus on Krishna consciousness. That is not Krishna consciousness. I'm going to not stop talking to my sister because her behavior is really bad. And that, so that is Krishna conscious means I should respect her. She has become my sister for a reason, right? I should respect her. So we should not even get into aversion. Aversion is a bad thing. Yes, Mataji, bol.
So, I think so far, Krishna consciousness is not a separate movement or process or entity that you can go and do. It is like being conscious that you are serving God all the time. Whatever you are doing, you are submitting and you are offering. So doesn't you cannot go and do something. So it is with you. It is understanding that God is with you all the time, and that is the consciousness.
Very good, Mata. So yes, Krishna consciousness is a lifestyle change. It's a lifestyle change. Yes, right. It's not a ritualistic thing. It's not one or two things. It's just changing our attitude from inside and leading our life. It's a very natural process. Very natural process. You're right. So unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material engagement. So unrestricted. So it is okay to initially, as we are growing in Krishna consciousness, it's okay to have some tendency of sense enjoyment, but we should acknowledge that, oh, this is the sense enjoyment I'm doing. But what we should avoid from the very beginning, unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material engagement. But one who follows the rules and regulation of the revealed scripture does not become entangled by sense objects. So as long as we are following the rules and regulation as it is in the scriptures, then we don't entangle by the sense object, because these things are created for us to manage our inclination. So I will like you to silently read this paragraph, which is not highlighted. All you read? Got it? So we should know the our sanctity of our married life, right? We should maintain that. One has to follow those rules and regulations unattached to them, because practice of sense gratification under regulation may also lead one to go astray. Practice of sense gratification under regulations may also lead one to go astray. I said, I will overindulge. Just from the previous paragraph, if somebody is doing too much, even within the structure of the marriage, then we are losing the sense of, because then you are too much in the sense gratification, right? Then you are not able to focus on the Krishna. Let's say if somebody likes to eat a lot, say, okay, I'm going to eat prasad, but I'm going to eat a lot of prasad. That's again not good, because ultimately then my tummy is going to suffer, right? So we should eat what is really required. I'll eat as much as required. If I get hungry, I'll eat. I'm not going to starve myself. I'm going to eat a little bit more, but not overdo it, right? So that's the point. So even if it is regulated, eating prasad is regulated, but I shouldn't overindulge. Yeah, definitely. At the same time, we should not say that, this is something prescribed. Eating is, prasadam is prescribed. So what is wrong with eating me lot more, lot more, lot more? So, so yes, definitely, then I'll become sick. I'm not able to do the service. So this line is just warning that we shouldn't use the crutch of saying that, this is regulated. This is something which is prescribed, so I can do it, right? So although they may be very carefully maintained, no one can guarantee that there will be no danger even on the safest road. So just like on the safest road, also the accident can happen. Similarly, the person who is practicing very sincerely, following the regulation, but if they lose the focus, they may fall down. So we should always be, just like while driving, we are always careful. Leading the spiritual life, we should always be careful that the fall down can happen. So that's the reason we say is that you should be in the association of devotees so that they can help us. Best devotee is your spouse. If your spouse is Krishna conscious person, your spouse is best devotee. Means, because then you both can support each other. It's a very good thing. for the, so the one, this, right? Yeah, so that is the other thing. We should not overindulge. Just what is required by the bodily, for the bodily needs, just have that, means, because that is the, in the further paragraph, the further verses is going to talk about that. How, yeah. So Prabhu, go ahead, talk about the example of Ajamil.
There is in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a story of Ajamil, where Ajamil was a Brahmin initial, and he was following the four regulative principles. And with his one day he was like seeing some woman, and he got attracted to that woman, and he left all his family for that woman, and he started staying with that woman. To satisfy her, he was playing gambling, so he was doing all other prohibited activities, and he stopped following the regulatory principles to, and also offering any prasadam to it. So he was not even eating prasadam. So he almost deviated from the path of the bhakti, and he was going down onto the material engagement. And now so the importance of the association came in, where one day the saintly people came to look for the house, and somebody jokingly said, go and seek the shelter at the Ajamil's place. And then saintly people went and inquired, saying, we want to get some one day of some shelter so that we can cook some prasadam and then eat. So Ajamil was not there. His wife was there. Wife was saying that, okay, there is a room. You can go and cook whatever you want. But then later on, they learned that Ajamil is not following the regulatory principles. He's not a Brahman. So they decided to leave as immediately. But before leaving, they suggested that Ajamil's wife was pregnant. So they thought of giving her some small suggestion, saying, um, can you please put your son's name as Narayan? Keep your son's name Narayan. So she said, okay, I'll agree to that. That's a very small thing. And then they left, and then Ajamil came back and he heard all these things. And then when his son was born, they named his son Narayan. Now, by saintly people's mercy, Ajamil got attracted to his son Narayan, and he used to keep saying Narayan, Narayan most of the time, and he will not spend any time doing all the prohibited activities because he was so attached to this small kid. So he kind of stopped reducing that fact. But at some point, as he was getting old, Yamduta came to pick him up, because he has done all sinful activities in his whole life. So Yamduta came. But when he saw Yamduta, he just was remembering only his son. So he called his son Narayan. The moment Narayan word was spoken, the Vṛṣṇi Dita appeared and asked Yamduta to just go away. And there was a long conversation between Yamduta and Vṛṣṇi Dita happens. And eventually Yamduta goes away. And then Vṛṣṇi Dita gives him life back, saying, now you have done sinful activities, but only at the time of the death you pronounce the name of Lord. So we came to save you. So we are giving you opportunity to serve the Lord. So he remembered all his previous actions that he was doing as a regulatory principles and doing a bhakti. So he continued his bhakti for another 10-12 years and then achieved the Lordship at the end of his life.
So through this story, what all things we can learn?
Association.
The first thing is attached or associated with this purport, which is one can fall down. One should always, even though he was a Brahman, he fell down because he lost track and he got caught up in the lust. Right? But then the second thing tells about the power of Harinam. Narayan, just one word, Narayan. Okay? Power of that. If we just keep chanting, it is very likely this will be our last life. If we is chanting sincerely. Sincerely is the important word. We shouldn't be chanting mechanically. sincerely thinking. Okay, so these are the two main takeaway, and this is a very big description of this story in Srimad Bhagavatam. And there is even the argument how Prabhu is telling the discussion, a long discussion between Vishnu Duta and Yamaduta. And Vishnu Duta proved that even though, so they were arguing that he has done so many bad things, so we have to take him, right, and punish him. They're telling, but he has said, even if he has said even one word of God, even the part of the word, that defeats all the mistakes one has done in their life. It's so powerful. Naam. So it's a glorification of name through that story also. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, to verse 35. Yeah, so they just so it's because that's how the Lord is so merciful. Just think that ultimately Lord doesn't want us to go through all those things. It is our own desire that we are going through it. He is giving all the leeway for us to go back, even to the extent that even by mistake I say the God's name at the end of my life, when I'm leaving, I'll go back. So he has made it very simple. But this story doesn't tell that everybody of us will be able to remember, because he was so attached to Narayan, he was calling out of attachment. That's the reason why our parents used to name their kids with the name of God, right? In South, you will see a lot of godly names. Still, the parents are very, very nice. North, we have lost that culture, but in South, they are still put a lot of nice name.
And it's not that easy like we think. At the time of that deathbed when we are, it's not easy to divert our mind to
remember God.
Remember Lord, because of our so much attachment to the whole life or the other things. It's not that easy. I have seen for my grandma, I have seen for my grandfather and many other people. It's not easy.
Right.
Yeah, we have control over what is being cooked in the kitchen. I want biryani, I want that first time, I want money, I want others, all that, right?
Yeah.
But not Lord.
Yes.
Except Lord, everything else comes at that moment.
Yes, true. Yeah. We'll talk more about that in chapter 8.
Yeah.
So, Prabhu, verse 35.
Shreyan swadharmo viguna.
Shreyan swadharmo viguna.
Paradharma swanushtita.
Paradharma swanushtita.
Swadharma nidhanam shreya.
Swadharma nidhanam shreya.
Paradharmo bhayavaha.
Paradharmo bhayavaha.
It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duty perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duty, for to follow another's path is dangerous.
Okay, so this is talking about that. So now it is a separate topic here. Krishna is talking about that while we are working, we have this tendency. Let's say now everybody wants to get into IT, right? Oh, there's a lot of money. It can be a very dangerous thing. If somebody is more inclination, they are born in more like in a saintly family. They are better off teaching scriptures, but they are trying to become an IT person, or vice versa. IT person thinks, that I can also be a Brahmin. Let me try to become a Brahmin, even though they don't have the Brahmin tendency, right? So these are all very dangerous. So we should how one should know. So how one should know that what is my tendency? Okay. So that is, we all have the psychophysical nature. We should, so here, let's read the purport. Okay. Materially prescribed duties are duties enjoined according to one's psychophysical condition. Okay. Psychophysical condition under the spell of the modes of material nature. So so depending on my desire, the spell of modes makes us do something. They have made us our nature in certain way. Let's say I can be very good businessman. I can negotiate really well and all those stuff. It's come very natural to me. For some other people, it can be that they are very natural in reciting Sanskrit verses. right? So we're talking about reciting Sanskrit verses. They're very natural.
Yes.
For some, it's very hard, right? So we are bound by the spell of the modes of nature, but we should see what is my natural tendency, where I am good at. That is a good indication that what is my psychophysical nature is. So before people would see the astrological chart, they will tell what kind of person I am, and then when you go to Gurukul, Guru will do the psychophysical analysis. They will run the psychophysical analysis knowing that what kind of person I am. And then based on that, they're going to teach me. It used to be kind of one-on-one teaching, right? Not like right now, the way we teach in the school. So, and then the person will follow that line of education, and then they will become proficient in that. And that is lead to back to Godhead. Because if we use our psychophysical nature to do the right kind of a word, that leads to the right kind of a purification. Otherwise not. The spiritual duties are as ordered by the spiritual master for the transcendental service of Krishna. So what are spiritual duties? The duties which are ordered by the spiritual master, and that is for the transcendental service of Krishna. For example, somebody would like to read online from here, for example.
For
Punya Prabhu?
example, a Brahmana who is in the mode of
Prabhu, you are
goodness.
mute. We cannot hear you. Or you are not mute, but we cannot hear you.
Okay. Prabhu, am I audible?
Audible, Prabhu?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Maybe in the room.
No, Prabhu, we cannot hear you. There's some problem. Santosh Prabhu, would you like to read? While Punya Prabhu fixes his microphone.
Yes. By the way, I could hear him. Can you hear me, Deepak Prabhu?
Yes. Yes. I think we can hear you, but he's
Okay.
there.
Yeah, I think.
Santosh Prabhu, we can't hear you. Okay. Balu Prabhu or Siva Prabhu? Santosh Prabhu, we
Can
can't
you
hear
hear
you.
me first? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it,
But I think
let's see if it's my problem somehow. Just hold on.
Yeah.
It will seem that it's our problem. I have a wrong setup. Yes, it's my problem. Just hold on.
Are they able to hear?
Yes. Can you speak now, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu. Am I audible now?
Punya Prabhu, you speak. Anybody you speak?
Yeah, I'm speaking, Prabhu. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes. It's our problem, Prabhuji. Sorry. Go ahead. Now read, Prabhuji.
Yeah. For example, a Brahmana who is in the mode of goodness is non-violent, whereas a Kshatriya who is in the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. As such, for a Kshatriya, it is better to be vanquished following the rules of violence than to imitate a Brahmana who follows the principles of non-violence. Prabhu, I have a follow-up question, if I may add.
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Prabhu, like as we discussed some time back, birth is only by birth, the dharma we are acquiring may not be guaranteed to be our swadharma. That's how, or like I want some more clarification on that. How do we know the swadharma? So is birth gives the swadharma, or how do you identify? As you mentioned in the previous example, Guru and Gurukula system was also playing a big role in our culture earlier, but it is broken now. How do we get to know the swadharma?
Yes, Prabhuji. So right now, with the tools what we have today, it is our own during the schooling life, we will get to know that what are the things where I am naturally inclined towards, right? It is not driven, it shouldn't be driven by the money or where the money is, right? Rather that what I am good at, right? Oh, maybe I'm a good artist. So slowly you will learn that this is my psychophysical nature, because when I do that, I get a lot of satisfaction in doing that. I will do that work whether I get the money or not get the money, right? So that is one way to know. Of course, even the good astrologer also can guide, but these days it's very hard to find a good astrologer. So best thing is our own self-observation. there is one very nice book a devotee has written. It's called Career Dharma. It is a very good, nice analysis on based on the scriptures, how to identify the psychophysical nature of oneself. So that is the other book. I read that 2 or 3 chapters of that book. It is a very well written book, actually. Yes, Mata.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. So I see that I am more person like who likes to give in terms of, so I can be good what do you call the counselor, means I'm that kind of a person, helping other people. I think that's my natural inclination. That's what, when I was reading that book, so some of those things came up, that so where do I derive? So it was telling that, so different kind. Some people like fame, some people like Aishwarya. I want money, that will give me more satisfaction. Some people like to do there are 6 things. So like that, they Aishwarya, fame, and I have to go and grab that book. So you go and analyze that which is the one which gives you more satisfaction, and you can have more than one. And based on that, then you see that, okay, in this job which I'm doing, does this thing comes into that or not? Then they say, oh, this job is fine then. Right? So it's a very good analysis based on the modern perspective. Right? So that's one way. The other is, if you just analyze, you see that if, let's say, you're working in Microsoft and you hate that work, you get happy that it's a nice money, but let's say, I'm just making it up. Let's say you don't enjoy that work. Maybe it's not the work. Maybe you like to do something else. Right? So I had one friend who was electric. He did electronic engineering, and he was in one gaming company. So Nintendo. So he was in Nintendo as a design engineer. Around 7-8 years ago, he left, and then he started doing the yoga. He has become a yoga teacher. Now he travels all around. He makes a lot less money than what he was make, but he's very happy. So you realize over time that, okay, even though I got into that, it is not something I enjoy. It is just, it seems like a chore to me. Right? So those are I think self-observation is the best thing. And then, of course, these tools, the Career Dharma kind of a tool, can help to also identify for your kids that where they are thinking. But again, it is us to figure out what is like, is the fame is what I'm looking for, saving other people's life, right? Okay, being the kind of Kshatriya kind of mentality, that what really gives me thing, then I should be more in the administration side, maybe go to the army or the police kind of a job, because that's what will give me more satisfaction. So that will tell, oh, my psychophysical nature is more like a Kshatriya, not like a Brahman, or not like a businessman. So even though I am born in a businessman family, right? I means my if you look, we are Vash, but I'm not doing business, and I don't think I want to do business either. I started doing business. I started my career. I started from there, but I think I'm happy with my job. I like it this way. So if you look, that it seems that, yeah, if I would be doing a business which which allows me to help people to solve their problem, then probably I'll enjoy.
But we can't expect profit.
Means, yeah, means
That
then
nature.
through that, lot of these days, lot of people, they make a lot of money. They write the self-help book, right? Lot of counselors, life coaches. So life coach has become a very good business,
Oh, okay.
very good business. So there are a lot of people in the market these days. Deepak Chopra and like this. Yeah, means, yeah. So see, so that is now money gives that, oh, I am earning money, but that may not give satisfaction. That may not give us satisfaction, inner satisfaction.
The similar line, I have put a business, e-mart, right? So it's like Amazon, Flipkart. I registered as a vendor. I used to get toys. So I don't like to put huge margin while I'm selling. So I tend to put only 20%, 30% margin and then sell it, even though it's a counter sale. So I'm unfit for business in profit making. That's I clearly sense it.
Yeah.
I feel bad if I put more price. Hey, it's too much you are expecting.
Right.
Yeah,
you will one will know. One will know with a careful analysis. Okay, Prabhu. Punya Prabhu, read. Finish the whole paragraph, Prabhuji.
Everyone has to cleanse his heart by a gradual process, not abruptly. However, when one transcends the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Krishna consciousness, he can perform anything and everything under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. In that complete stage of Krishna consciousness, the Kshatriya may act as a Brahmana or a Brahmana may act as a Kshatriya. In the transcendental stage, the distinction of the material world do not apply. For example, Vishwamitra was originally a Kshatriya, but later he acted as a Brahmana, whereas Parsurama was a Brahmana, but later he acted as a Kshatriya. Being transcendentally situated, they could do so, but as long as one is in the material platform, he must perform his duties according to the modes of the material nature. At the same time, he must have a full sense of Krishna consciousness.
So I made you read this because see, there are exceptions. So we see, oh, this is exception. How there's an exception, but it's not an exception. These people are on the transcendental platform. So for them, interchangeably is totally fine because they don't have the conditioning like us. So they will be, whatever work they are doing, that is purifying. Okay. For us, while we are going through the process, we should try to follow our psychophysical nature. Once, let's say we become advanced, then we can do any work. It should be fine. For Krishna consciousness, one can do any work. So even though, let's say I'm not perfect, I am full of garbage, but if the work is required for Krishna, let's say temple asks me to do some security work, even though I am not that kind of person, but the temple is asking that hey, people have to be protected. Can you go and guard the temple from the front and make sure these people are not coming inside the temple? Make sure you check their something, whatever, right? So even though that's not my nature, I should go and do that service because that is required for Krishna consciousness, right? So these are just some of the exceptions. I just wanted to make sure. I cannot say at that time, oh, no, I am a more like IT guy. I cannot do any other work. That would be very, very wrong. That is not Krishna consciousness. Okay, Prabhu, just hold on. We'll move to the next section. Section 4. So now we are entering the last section, conquering lust, the greatest enemy. This is the very practical aspect. Again, you all can very much relate with this. We all can, not you. We all can relate with this. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Arjuna Vacha.
Arjuna Vacha.
Atha kena prayuktoyam.
Atha kena prayuktoyam.
Papam charati purusha.
Papam charati purusha.
Anichannapi Vṛṣṇeya.
Anichannapi Vṛṣṇya.
Baladiva niyojitaha.
Baladeva niyojitaha.
Arjun said, O descendant of Vṛṣṇi, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force?
So now Arjuna is questioning. The question was raised before Krishna himself said that sometimes you shouldn't try to fight. It seems that you are being forced. Now Arjuna is saying that he's taking that and he's asking the question directly because he said, yeah, I really want to know. By what one is impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force. Now just tell me, do you guys ever feel like that? Does this happen to you? You feel that you are being forced?
Yes, we do many things.
In many things? Okay. Other Prabhu Mataji also, do you feel that? So, but one, so living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme is originally spiritual, pure, and free from all material contamination. So that is our original consciousness. Therefore, by nature, he is not subject to the sins of the material world. But when he is in contact with the material nature, which is right now we are all in contact with the material nature, he acts in many sinful ways without hesitation and sometimes even against his will. Yeah. 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 Now, somebody give me an example of that. Somebody can use your own life or give me an example that where it seems that somebody is going against his will.
It's like the habits, right? I know that smoking is not good for my health, but still we tend to go and if someone is even if I make myself, oh no, no, I should stop smoking. If I see someone who is smoking, then again my desire develops. Okay, let me do it this time. Tomorrow I'll not do, and I go for it. And next time it repeats the same. So I know it's not good for my health, but I just keep going in that way.
Definitely, Prabhu.
So because I keep enjoying, okay, I feel good if I smoke. I never smoke, but anyway.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's yes, Prabhu. You want to say something?
I don't know if it's really, to do with the force, but it's more of the attachment that we have with things. And then we try to explain it, maybe with saying like, hey, there is some force or something, but it's just the weakness that we have within, whether that weakness is because of, the training that we have had or the weak mind that we have, or, we don't have the knowledge really within. We tend to feel that we have the knowledge, but we don't. We just know things, but we don't absorb things. And we tend to think that we know, but we don't know. And then we tend to just do things and then just kind of blame it on.
Yes, yeah. Because then the mind, the intelligence will use that to validate the why I'm doing that, right? So I'll give you one very common thing everybody can check. If you all are you aware of this? How much screen time you are doing on phone? How many hours you do for screen time?
Yes.
2 hours or so.
Who said on the online? Somebody?
Yeah. I can see it. Yeah.
So see,
4 hours on average.
for how many hours, Prabhuji?
4 hours on average.
Oh,
Not
four-
me. I've
Yes.
seen.
Okay, 4 hours on an average. Okay, so you all should check your screen time, and you all know that screen time is not good. We tell our kids, but how much screen time we are doing it. So that's one habit you can see that is seen that we are just get used to it. We just want to check our WhatsApp or this one habit. Other thing I have seen, and this is something I am struggling with. So on Bing.com, the first page somehow I think I have to change the page. It comes with the news. Right?
So many news.
So many news. And I get stuck. If I don't watch news, there's no TV. But this is one last thing. And I hate, I'm reading news like 15, 20 minutes. And then I realize what I'm doing. And then I think, maybe two more news. Yeah, two more news. And then another 5 minutes gone. And then I hate that. It seems that I'm just. So you will find if you just look into your life, you will find that we are doing these small things because Krishna consciousness that I shouldn't be wasting any time. Why? Means YouTube short. Thankfully, I'm not going. That is not bothering me. But this Bing.com is really bothering me. I have to change that.
You can put homepage as.
Yeah, I have to plain Google. Maybe you have to choose Google.
One thing that I use like all the learning activities. Even for example, if I want to learn about like Krishna consciousness or anything like educational, but there's just stuff out there because even if I just go in there, do my own stuff, but I actually end up doing something else.
Yeah. I had one friend, classmate, and he stopped using Facebook suddenly. I said, "What happened?" So it seems that he got so addicted to the Facebook, he was pinging other women, looking into other people's life. So his marriage was in trouble. He got so addicted to it, and because he was my classmate, he confided to me that's what was happening. Then he ultimately deleted his Facebook account to get come out of his habit. So these are the things which we live on. Yeah, very hard because those are the things that he's being impelled. He knows that he's a married man, right? But he was just getting impelled as if by force. So
I switched off my history in the YouTube, so it cannot hack me by suggesting all relevant things on the YouTube. I just watch whatever I want to and then keep it aside.
Yes, so we are saying that.
So one of the example like the doctors, So we are assuming that doctors are face of God.
Mhm.
So, but still we are observing that doctors are unwillingly or maybe willingly, we don't know, but they are in act that which is maybe sinful.
Mhm.
So they are forced by hospital administration or like people who want to do doctor to do some activity which is sinful.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so actually, maybe this is my question: whether doctor is like responsible for, because if he is not following that things, he is not like having any job.
Right. I understand. I'll tell you one example. One doctor, she used to come in our class, and she's a psychologist. She's asked by the hospital to write so much of prescription. Required. If they don't do it, then you won't get the promotion. You will probably they'll kick you out. They won't because they are driven by the pharmaceutical industry. So even though she knows that those medicines are not good, she has to write the prescription. But then she will tell, hey, you eat or not eat, but at least she has to write. So these are, but that is driven by the greed. That is driven by the greed. Right? That's the corporate greed. That's the corporate greed. Yeah.
It's like instead of doing normal delivery, they go for
C section in India. It's very much prevalent. It's very common in India.
Very
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Prabhu. Now let's see what Krishna has to say.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Kamesha Krodesha
Kamesha Krodesha
Rajaguna Samadhava
Rajo Guna Samudbhava
Mahashano Mahapapma
Mahasano Mahapapma
Vittena Miha Vairinam.
Viddena Meha Varinam.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is lust only, Arjun, which is born of contact with material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world."
So see, what is the problem here? This is very important. Okay, and then this is something you should today you should all try to internalize. Your husband, wife should go like talk whenever you get okay. It is what is telling what is the problem here? Lust. And then what the this desire leads to lust. So I have a desire to enjoy, very strong desire to enjoy. So that is leading to lust, and Arjuna, and what is telling, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion. So because I just mode of passion, right? And that's the reason, like always being mode of passion is not conducive. And this is later transformed. This later what it becomes? Wrath. Wrath means by hook or crook, I want to do it. Doesn't really matter. Wrath. So anger becomes wrath, which is like you'll burn anybody, you'll kill anybody. That's called a wrath, right? And which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world. Okay, now Balu Prabhu, would you like to read the purport?
Sure. Yeah. If therefore the mode of passion.
No, Prabhu, read the full one. When a living entity.
Oh, okay. When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust in association with the mode of passion, or in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust, as milk in contact with sour tamarind is transformed into yogurt. Then again, when the lust is unsatisfied, it turns into wrath. Wrath is transformed into illusion, and illusion continues the material existence. Therefore, lust is the greatest enemy of the living entity, and it is lust only which induces pure living entity to remain entangled in the material world. Wrath is the manifestation of the mode of the ignorance. These modes exhibit themselves as wrath and other corollaries. If therefore the mode of passion, instead of being degraded into the mode of ignorance, is elevated to the mode of goodness by the prescribed method of living and acting. Then one can be saved from the degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. Wow.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, so this is see something we should focus. So see what's happening. When lust is unsatisfied, what it does, it turns into wrath, and then wrath is transformed into illusion. So illusion means when there's, let's say, if you take example of anger, and this can be applied to anything, lusty behavior. Okay, anger will become so maddened like that you don't consider what is the result, right? And then in that you'll say that whatever, I really don't care. This person is wrong, and then you just keep going, and now illusion. Then you are telling that why you were wrong, you were right, and that person was wrong. So now I'm an illusion, right? And then illusion continues the material existence, because then why the material existence? Because then I have created so many sins, and I'm going to go and reborn. That person is going to born in my family, and then we are going to fight, and again we'll get the next birth, right? So this is continues. So this is a lust. Lust is, as Mata is telling, is the stronger desire to satisfy ourselves, and this can be applied to anything. It can be lust for physical contact with for opposite gender. It can be gain a lot of money. It can be any of things. And what is lust? What is lust? Eternal love for Krishna into lust. So because this is the perverted world, the chapter 15 is going to talk about that, how this world is an inverted reflection of the spiritual world. So the love, what is the pure love, has become into lust. In the pure love, there's so much joy in giving. We are getting so much of bliss. We want to enjoy that, and we think that we are going to get when become lusty. Lust means when we want something for me. The simple difference between love and lust is, tell me, what is the simple difference between love and lust?
Lust for our sense gratification.
Yeah, love
versus giving.
Yes, what, Prabhuji?
Taking versus giving, Prabhu.
Yes, that is also. So yeah, love, there is no expectation. You want to give, no expectation whatsoever, and it's not one time. Oh, I give you, but tomorrow then I'll say I expect because I gave you yesterday. No, it's today I'll give you. Tomorrow I'll give you. 365 days I'm going to give you. Whether you give me back anything or not doesn't really matter. That's love. It's unconditional and uninterrupted. Hear this thing. Unconditional and uninterrupted. Unconditional and uninterrupted. That's love. Lust is, what's in it for me? I love you, you also love me. I gave you something, in return you should give me some return gift. That is lust. Okay, so just be very careful, and then if you just focus on this, you'll see your personal relationship will also become very nice. Your personal relationship also will become very nice. Yes, Mataji. One can never be desireless. One can never be desireless. We will always have desire because we are active soul. Okay, what we have to convert, for what we are desiring. Am I desiring for me or for Krishna? And that goes to the beginning of this chapter, identity. Am I identifying with the soul or with the body? If we identify with the body, then I will always have the desire which is more pleasing to my body. If it,
Action generates that kind of like some invention or something which is useful for the society. So that desire seems like good, but how we will differentiate that it is not becoming plus?
yeah, so now let's say, first of all, these days, most of the invention you will see, they are not advancing the human towards the self-realization. They are more technological advancements. Tesla, rockets, nuclear bombs, the guns, right? So these are all like those kind of or stock on the stock, like okay, this kind of a investment things or that kind of investment things, right? So that's kind of an invention. But let's say there are some inventions which is good. Let's just assume that. Now, person does it, but then through that, if that person wants to make a lot of money, if through that invention they're trying to prove that they are the best, right? And they're using that invention to bring their persona to the higher level. Those things are they were not telling me that even though my initially I wanted to, um, uh, for example, this is a good example. Let's say, and rather than going to Ramdev Babaji, sometimes he gets blamed. I won't take that example. Um, there's one guy who's very famous. Prabhu told me. His name is Saurabh Botra. He's teaching yoga to the lakhs and lakhs of people. And he seems that he's a very reasonable guy. IITN, but teaching yoga. And right now, he seems that he wants to teach, he wants people to get into the habit. But let's say tomorrow, slowly, he becomes totally money minded. Then he has got caught up in the lust. He started with the right attitude. I want to do something for the mass. But then he becomes totally money minded. So that's a lusty behavior. He'll get into the lust and then he will suffer through that. Because then somebody will come and take his place. And then he will think, oh, what happened to me? My name, fame, and glory, what has happened to that? Okay? Everybody,
We need money. Sure.
so we have a need for money, means, but to live our life, right? So what is needed, what is required versus what I desire. These are two different things, right? Of course, I need to sustain my body. I need to sustain my family, but then that need becomes that, oh no, I should also go on like a big vacation, and when I'm going I should go on the business class. Those are things, right? Not that those are not those are not the needs, right? So that's where we have to be careful, because those are the yes Prabhuji, bolo.
So how do we think about, like, we work for companies that work for profit, right? All the companies that we work for, like around So even though when we are doing our job, like maybe we just, focusing on Krishna consciousness and whatnot, but then we actually end up contributing to an organization which is making profits,
Yes, true.
and everyone is doing the same thing, but that's how these organizations are run.
Yes.
So how do we think about that?
Okay, very good question. Now, you tell me now, knowing the knowledge, whatever we have discussed, what do you think? What is the recourse for us? Any thought on that?
I mean, if I just think about myself, like, and there are two parts to it. Take an example, it's like giving a vote. Like,
Giving the vote. Okay, yeah.
if you have to vote and say, hey, one vote won't make a difference, but we still, vote. And if I say, hey, I decided not to do the job for, a profit-minded company, but work for an organization which is doing something for humanity and whatnot, of course, maybe I will not find it, or maybe I'll find it late, and maybe I will make less money and all that. But then one thing to think about is, like, I just do what I need to do and then not worry about the organization. But then that thought comes to my mind, like, me just leaving the job alone won't change anything, right? So it's that dilemma that we have. Of course, just feels like the right thing to do is just leave it and don't worry about what others are going to do, and you just focus on your own thing. But I don't think I have the courage to do that.
Yes, so the answer is multi-pronged. You covered a few things. Of course, as you think that if there is an option where I can reduce that cycle of course, we get the karma for that, right? If we can reduce that, then I should do that. So, for example, I had a friend, devotee friend, Prabhu, just like you, he was a PhD, and he was doing the research in the microbiology. And even actually, he had to, as a part of that research, he has to kill a lot of cells and these things. And as he was growing, that's the dilemma he had. And then he figured that he doesn't want to do that, because at least in our case, we are not killing physically, But of course, we can kill through the AI, we can kill and do things. But and then he left the job, he became a data scientist. So he took that
It will
approach.
be feeling mentally like, the example I gave, every time you open an edge browser, you end up spending time. Imagine if it's happening to you, people who don't pay attention and who are not conscious, they actually end up spending hours and hours on something.
Of course,
and
of
then
course,
that
of course,
vicious cycle.
of course. So now in this case coming is so of course the first approach is if you can find a job which is better, less karma oriented, then it's the best thing. The second is if let's say I cannot do that, I don't have the courage, I don't find the courage, then within the job, what can I do? Do I need to get associated with my company that they are money minded, so I should be money minded? No. I can say that, okay, company is paying me, I will do the work honestly, but I won't be money minded, right? I will deliver on my deliverables, what is required. I won't go on people's head because a lot of time to get the promotion, you claim the work result of other people also. I won't do that. I will be gentle, nice. And then the money which I'm earning, I'll offer it to Krishna. I'll use it for Krishna. And you really feel pleased by offering it to Krishna. Okay? And then while you're at the work, you can see how you can preach Krishna conscious to other people in a way which works at the work, right? In work, like the people are very, oh, you're talking about Krishna, he's God, you are talking about religion. We'll do in a way where it makes sense, where we are slowly coming towards the goodness, level of goodness. Not even trans level of goodness, then we are doing the job. That's the other way, right? So
be not too much attached to that.
to the attached to the if you're not attached to the money, then you won't be attached to that, right? So there are different paths one can choose, right? Wherever we are, in and then Krishna. Then if you really feel about, then you talk to Krishna within your heart while you're praying. Krishna, I really feel that this work is not good for me. I feel that my company is really causing so much of carbon emission. I'm just making it up. Carbon emission, and they are the ones who are getting to kill so many animals. I really don't. Please guide me through my heart. And if your prayer is sincere, Krishna will guide you. He will lead to a kind of job or maybe kind of a business or something like that where your karma balance will start decreasing. And when we do Krishna consciousness, we should not worry about the karma, because when we are very sincere, you are working on the platform of karma, if you're sincere. But we don't want to say that, oh, I am working on because we'll let Krishna decide that. We will focus that. Is my work is it's not a bad work, right? It's not creating the bad karma for other people or for me. And am I really sincere in my attitude? So I have to be very honest. And then we should work with the honesty and integrity. Integrity, because that integrity, what I'm showing at work, that is showing my nature. And that nature will show in my spiritual life also. If I'm not, I don't have integrity at work, I'm pretty sure with devotee also, I'm going to play games. I'm going to play games because that's my nature. So having a nice integrity at work is a very good thing for devotional service. So we should not lie. I don't, even though let's say I have to take break, today's Ekadashi and all, I want to do like more rounds. So and then I would like to skip some. So I will just say that I have some appointments. I don't want to lie. So I'm always very careful that I don't lie. I won't say that I'm sick. No, I'm not sick. But then I will find the right reasons which politically is correct. If I say that, oh, yeah, personal, I'm taking the personal time off, or I have some personal appointment. So personal appointment for Krishna, I am doing the seva for Krishna. I can do, right? So just be careful with what we say, because that becomes our habit. Okay, so that's how you can do it. It's not very hard, Prabhuji. The main thing is the intention has to be clean, and then charity. Do charity for Krishna. Do volunteer service. So I use Microsoft. I use Microsoft, and don't just keep in this room. I use Microsoft a lot for Krishna consciousness. When any devotee comes, I try to organize I'm using my Teams here, using my laptop here, right? I use the printer there for getting printed for the different events and all those stuff. I try to use the opportunity to talk people about the vegetarianism sometimes, invite the devotees to come and give the talk. As much as I can do, means slow the food truck. So we all can do so many things. We can make now Microsoft is getting the Sukriti because they're helping the devotional practice in the community, right? So it's getting the Sukriti in a way. $15,000 you get for the giving campaign. Make sure that you use every bit of that. Why to waste your $15,000? Tomorrow you shouldn't repent. Oh man, I should have donated 30,000 free money from Microsoft and of my own, because you are well to do. You can do that. Right? So yes, this is very, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for asking. So we'll do maybe one more verse, Prabhu, and then we can stop.
3.38. धूमेना व्रियते वह्निर्
धूमेना व्रियते वह्निर्
यथो दशो मलेन च
यथो अदृश्रो मलेन च
यथोल्बेनावृते गर्भस्
यथोल्बेनावृतो गर्भ
तथा तेनेतमावृतम्.
तथा तेनेदम् आवृतम्.
As fire is covered by smoke, as mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degree of this lust.
So this is again. So now it is again unpacking how everyone's lust is different, right? It's not that we have the same layer of lust amongst all human beings. It's not that all the living beings have the similar kind of a lust. Like so, human beings and as well as the living being. I mean, right? So this is the first level. As fire is covered by smoke, this is layer number one. It is the lightest. Mirror is covered by the dust. Second highest means more covering. An embryo is covered by the womb. It is lot of covering. Like if the embryo is covered, the child cannot move at all. Very hard to talk to the child, right? So it's a lot of covering. So this is in the purport. It is explained. Santosh Prabhu, would you like to read the whole paragraph?
Yes, I don't know whether you have background noise. If not, then I'll continue.
It's good, Prabhu.
There
Yeah,
are
good.
okay. There are 3 degrees of covering of the living entity by which his pure consciousness is obscured. This covering is but lust under different manifestations like smoke in the fire, dust on the mirror, and womb about the embryo. When lust is compared to smoke, it is understood that the fire of the living spark can be little perceived. In other words, when the living entity exhibits his Krishna consciousness slightly, he may be likened to the fire covered by smoke. Although fire is necessary where there is smoke, there is no overt manifestation of fire in the early stage. This stage is like the beginning of Krishna consciousness. The dust on the mirror refers to cleansing process of the mirror of the mind by so many spiritual methods. The best process is to chant the holy names of the Lord. The embryo covered by the womb is an analogy illustrating a helpless position for the child in the womb. Child in the womb is so helpless that he cannot even move. This stage of living condition can be compared to that of the trees. The trees are also
You can
living
now come to
entities.
the
Okay.
highlighted Prabhu in the form of human being. Yeah.
In the form of human being, the living entity may revive a little Krishna consciousness, and if he makes further development, the fire of spiritual life can be kindled in the human form of life. By careful handling of the smoke in the fire, fire can be made to blaze. Therefore, human form of life is a chance for living entity to escape the entanglement of material existence. In the human form of life, one can conquer the enemy, lust, by cultivation of Krishna consciousness under evil guidance.
So see, this is as we were discussing, right? We don't need to focus on the negative aspect, right? We all have condition. The way to conquer the lust is by focusing on the positive Krishna consciousness. So by doing that, then we'll start loving the God, and the lust will automatically start diminishing, right? And then how, which based on based on what you heard in the purport, are we covered by smoke, or are we like a mirror covered by the dust, or are we the embryo covered by the womb? Which of these three we are in? Which analogy applies to us? That so yes. So these one and two. So for most of us, if you see that most you can say is number 1. For some, it becomes little slow, then it's number 2, right? But 1 and 2, because the purport talks about both 1 and 2. It is saying that for most of who are in the Krishna consciousness, we have started, right? We are the beginner. That shows that we have the fire. It is just that we have some desire. We have some desire which is causing the smoke. So 1. But then when we chant the holy name, it removes the dust on the mirror. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about, right? He Cheto Darpan Marjanam, where he has written Chaitanya Astakam, Siksha Astakam. So there is a Cheto Darpan Marjanam, which says that when you chant, it removes the dust from the mirror. So he compares that. So we can take that analogy also. So because we should always consider that we are good for nothing, right? Means that's a keep the mood of a humble. Now, it's not that I have become a very good devotee or something like that, right? So when we are a humble position, we should say, okay, I'll keep chanting so that the dust from the mirror can be removed. Okay, so 1 and 2. 3 is typically used for the animals or the people who are totally in the mode of ignorance. Okay. All right. So we will, even though we wanted to finish the chapter today, but we will stop here. We have 5 more verses to go. So we will finish it in the next class. Any question for today? Okay, if not,
So I
yes,
have one
Prabhuji.
question from
Yes,
previous shlokas.
yes, Prabhuji.
So one of the shlokas is to offer uh, prasadam to God first and then accept.
Yes,
It.
yes, verse
So
13. Yes.
so my question is, the food that we offer to God first, what do we do with that? Do we consume that ourselves too at the end, or do we feed it to animals, or
Oh, no,
what do
no,
we
no,
do?
Prabhu. Yeah, yeah. Whatever we offer to the God. So basically, we don't eat anything which is not offered to the God. So I'll repeat, we don't eat anything which is not offered to the Lord. In the beginning, you can say that, let's call it 99% in the beginning, right? Sometimes you are going outside, you are flying on the plane, then, okay, those are not prasad. There is a way to make that prasad also, or you can carry the prasad, but 99% you say that in the home, every day I'm eating prasad. So whatever you cook, first you or your wife cooks, you offer to the Lord first. After the Lord has eaten, you take that food and mix it with the remainder of the prasad. Because let's say you're cooking for a lot, right? Because you have 4 family members or 3 family members. And then you offer a part of that to the Lord. You don't take the whole cooker to the Lord, right? We put into a nice plate and the nice clean plate, which is only for the Lord. We offer to the Lord. We put the Tulsi Maharani there. Okay. And then we let the Lord eat for 10 minutes. And then we take the prasad back. We mix it in the remainder, and then that's what we consume. That should be our life. That is verse 13. That's what it's talking about. If we don't do that, then what it says that we are eating only sin. Verily eat only sin. Right? So that's the what this is telling. Okay?
Right. Right.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Thank you.
It's a good question, Prabhuji. That's definitely we all this will see the impact of that in our life very quickly. Chanting, so ABCD, association, book, chanting, and diet. This comes under diet. Our diet should be Krishna conscious.
Common mistake we do, at least before realizing Krishna consciousness. So they offer some bhoga, and then they do vandanam, and then they go and forget about that bhoga, whatever they offered. And next time when they come, probably next day, then they realize, oh, it is not eaten, and uh, then they think of, should I offer it to bird? Should I offer it to dog? Should I throw it on the dustbin? They cannot eat because it's not fresh anymore. That's the problem happens. Instead of consuming it, they ignore it or forget about consuming it.
Right, yeah. So yeah, we should be careful about that. Also, it is also Prabhupada once said that the prasad never goes stale, but you know that, right? in what moods one has offered. So of course, when we offer somebody, like so when we are offering the guest, we don't leave the dirty plate in front of them.
Exactly.
After they have eaten, we quickly take it away.
Right.
We don't leave the food there, right? So we should treat that we are feeding the king.
Yeah.
And it's very special that the king has come to my house, right? And we should feed with that particular mood in the nicest plate possible where we are not eating. So we should have a separate plate for the Lord, right? If we can afford the silver plate, we should use a silver plate. If we cannot, then use the steel plate, but only for the Krishna. We offer it with tulsi leaf, right? Make sure that it is Krishna, as per the parampara, he doesn't like to eat onion and garlic. So you offer only food without onion and garlic. Let's say if you eat onion and garlic at home, at least try to, in the beginning, still try to cook something which is without onion garlic. And slowly you will see that cooking without onion garlic is very easy. It becomes, you can talk to my wife, making the food becomes very easy actually. And it's as tasty, if not better tasty. In fact, people say that it's more tastier than before. Okay. So it's very easy, not very difficult. Okay. So next week is Anand Mela, so we won't have the class. However, I request, if you can help volunteering, that will be great. I myself is looking for the cashier volunteer. So if you haven't signed up, you are local, I'll kindly request you to sign up for one of these slots. That will be very helpful. And that's how we are offering our work to Krishna. Right? We are not making any money from Anand Mela. Why we are doing Anand Mela? The question is why we are doing Anand Mela. What do you think? Why we are doing Anand Mela?
Engage to spread the name of Krishna, or to give them the taste of something done in sattvic mode. The food, the preparation is the food is prepared with sattvic mode, that means Krishna conscious mode. How that looks like, tastes like.
Okay. Yeah. So see, directly we because there are a lot of diversified group is coming. So Prabhu, you're right. So a lot of diversified group is coming, and we don't talk about Krishna to everybody. Okay. We only talk to the people about Krishna who are willing to listen about Krishna. Okay. So we don't want to break that rule. So people, we say that, would you like to read about Bhagavad Gita? And when they're coming to Vedic University and where book booth or all, when they're coming to eat the food, of course, they are all eating the prasad. So that will help with the consciousness. The main thing we are doing to build the relationship.
Yeah.
When the people come and they see, oh, these are nice people. And then you're all volunteer and you guys have done all those things. Wow, that's amazing. And you'll hear people saying that. And through that, when we say something nice about the devotees or the work, Krishna likes it. And that gives the sukriti to the other person who said thank you to you. That will lead to them to Krishna consciousness, conscious path. So not today, maybe tomorrow, next year, year after year, they will become Krishna. A lot of people through that, they have started coming to temple. Mainly through the service, they started coming, and slowly their lifestyle have changed. The kids then start coming to the school, Gurukul, Sunday school. You'll see how the things have really, you'll see, wow, that thing really work. That things really work. So by contributing to as a volunteer, you will be helping in that movement. It is not something we are want to make the temple famous, anything like that. It is just trying to bring the people to the Krishna consciousness. Temple is actually like a university. Prabhupada always said that our temple should be university, a place of study, not the place of ritual. Of course, when we have the deity, we have to really see them as a deity and we have to really follow the process, right? But the main thing is, whoever is coming, they know who is Krishna. What is the message from Krishna? That is the main thing. Okay. So if I know that our Prabhu and Mataji, they have signed for the food booth. So if let's say you don't like to do cashier service, you can take other service, right? But the cashier service is pretty easy. I'm not trying to sell, but it is very easy. And you are the first one they encounter you, right? When they are trying to buy the lot of food, you smile, you say, thank you. I think, hope you're liking it. Okay, what you would like to have. So this is the food. We'll set up your phone, everything. Is mostly they are doing the electronic transaction. Only 10% is cash. And for that, so it's not very difficult. So anybody who can do it, I know both the Siva Prabhu is doing, Balu Prabhu, in case you have time, You can do it. And then Mataji Prabhuji, aap kuch kar rahe hain, Prabhu? Have you taken any service yet? Not yet. Yeah, if you can, please consider. Then please think if you can do. If you like cashier service, please sign up. If you don't like cashier service, you can sign up for the other things. Okay.
I signed up for off day. Maybe off day will also like.
Yeah. It means, it means I have 4 slots. You can pick 1 slot or more slot. Like say you can take one slot both the days. You can do that, right? And so yeah. And of course, there is some. I'll switch off the recording. Of course, there is some advantage of doing the. Did I stop the? No. Yeah. You get treated very well by the food booth people because you are being